Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see you here. Thank you so much for stopping by and thank you for watching. I wanted to talk today just about the subconscious. I want to make it really brief, but before I start talking about the subconscious, I want to talk about Marisa Peer and rapid transformational therapy. Marisa Peer is a renowned hypnotherapist. She had a practice for over 30 years and it was incredibly successful on both sides of the Atlantic. She worked in LA and also worked in London, building up a huge practice. And she worked with a variety of different kinds of people with a variety of different ailments and problems. And then she started a school, the Marisa Peer School, where she has now been training lots of people like me to help people like you around the world. And so she's sharing her method that she created called rapid transformational therapy, which is a form of hypnotherapy, and it's incredibly effective and fast, which is why she calls it rapid transformational therapy. So this method comes from Marisa Peer, and I have been trained by Marisa Peer and her program. And I live on the East Coast of the United States, and I help people specifically, I help women who struggle with anxiety and self-doubt, professional women who struggle with anxiety and self-doubt, to overcome that anxiety by using rapid transformational therapy and without using medications in as little as 6 weeks, so that they can feel empowered and confident and have that rock solid self-trust in themselves. So I want you to think about the mind as a pyramid, sort of a pyramidal shape with the conscious at the top, the conscious mind at the top. So I want you to divide that pyramid into three sections. So the top part's the conscious mind, the middle part is the subconscious mind, and the bottom layer is the unconscious mind. So what we're concerned with mostly in this form of hypnotherapy is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the fuel that runs the engine. The subconscious mind is the programming. So think of your physical body as the hardware, and think of the mind as the software. It's another way of looking at it: fuel in the tank or software, hardware, right? So what happens is that when we're really little, we start out in the world like learning how to walk, right? Crawl and then walk. And we start to talk and we start to feed ourselves and we start to clothe ourselves and we begin to socialize and we begin to bump into the world. We bump into other people. It's oftentimes other people that help us, for better or worse, to form beliefs. So when we're really little and something happens, when we're really little and something happens, we form a belief after that event has occurred. Like, so for me, for example, I went to the circus when I was really little with my mom, and she thought it would be a really special thing. We got balloons, which I hate because you can't control balloons. It's like trying to control cats. And they just seemed scary to me. Went to the circus, there were lots of people there, and I was really anxious and afraid. And I was anxious and afraid just about having all these people around. So I was having a hard time enjoying the circus and enjoying, what we were supposed to be enjoying, the acrobats and the animals. I don't know. So let's just say that I formed a limiting belief around big groups of people, that it's just not safe. It's not fun and it's not safe to go out and be with big groups of people. Is that true? It's not a black and white situation, is it? But when I was little, I formed that belief, and then that belief forms me as I go through my life, right? So I have this belief that large groups of people are scary. And so then as I get into my teens, I'm scared to go to concerts. I get into college, I'm scared to go to, classes where there are 200 people in those freshman classes. Philosophy 101 that has 200 people in it, that kind of thing. So that's how the limiting belief impacts our lives as we move forward in life. But did I ever stop to question that was my issue? Did I ever stop and think, oh, this must be a limiting belief? But that's what it was. I was carrying that around with me in my subconscious. So, as hypnotherapists who use RTT, who use rapid transformational therapy, we drop down, we drop below the conscious, and we work with the subconscious mind. This is where the fuel is. So we change the fuel in your tank so that you can run on healthy fuel, because most of us have unhealthy fuel in that tank that runs the show, right? We are a car and we've got this fuel in our tank that is faulty. So it's going to give us issues and problems, and we stop and start, the engine's not working well. I actually like the hardware software. It's a little bit more aligned with the brain and the body. So software meaning the programming, and hardware meaning the actual nuts and bolts of your laptop or your iPad or your computer, right? The plastic components and maybe the lithium components and magnesium, whatever else computers are made of. I don't know. So the programming is the software. And we grow up with limiting beliefs that we never ever bother to look at. So when you're my client, I first put you into a hypnotic state, which is a light trance. It's a light hypnosis, and there's never ever anything to be afraid of. You never ever have to be afraid. And then you drop. I invite the client to drop below the conscious to the subconscious mind. And when you do this, it's not like you have to think about like a scene that comes up that's going to be connected to your fear of crowds, or your fear of dogs, or your fear of taking tests, whatever. It's not conscious. It's the subconscious that bubbles up with these images or with these events or these feelings or these experiences. And it's very interesting if you can just let go, let the conscious mind be quiet and off to the side. You can sort of invite the conscious mind to say, sit over here in this chair, just take it easy and watch, because the subconscious is going to be doing some work now. And it's just very effortless to allow these events and experiences to come to the surface. And we take a look to see what are the events, and then what beliefs did you form as a result of the events. Let's say that your parents thought it was really time for you to learn how to swim, and you were 3, so you were thrown into the water. And your mom was there to catch you, but you slipped, you struggled a little bit. She was there, you didn't die, but it was very scary. So you form a belief that the water is scary and that you will never, ever go near deep water again. Water can be scary, but in and of itself, water is just water. But you have formed a belief about your relationship with deep water, which isn't necessarily true, because number one, you could learn how to swim. Number two, you could be in some sort of vehicle, some kind of a boat, so that you could be in deep water without being in danger of losing your life, right? Of drowning. There are ways you can deal with water and pools and oceans and things like that. But the river or the ocean in and of itself, you don't need to worry about it. It's just there, but you formed a belief that it's scary and dangerous. Of course, the ocean can be scary and dangerous, but you know what I mean, right? So you form this belief because of this scary experience that happened to you. And so you stay away from deep water. When you're 3, 4, or 5, that belief is helpful and useful to you and is saving your life. But if you're like me, if you're 60 and you still have this belief, it's not really serving me, because it's really no longer true. I can take care of myself in deep water. I can choose to go into that water or not. I can take swimming lessons. I can get into a canoe and be safe in a canoe with my life preserver on and my paddle, right? So it's important to change the beliefs, to recognize them, to change them into positive beliefs. I enjoy deep water. Deep water is beautiful. I can swim. I can take care of myself. I am safe. Things like that. So that these limiting beliefs don't govern or run your life. Something more profound would be maybe I'm afraid of men, or I'm afraid of women. Men aren't to be trusted. Women aren't to be trusted. Never, ever trust a man. Never, ever trust a woman. Those things really impact our lives at a deep level, and they can be problematic. But if we go into the programming and change the programming, then the hardware can live its life, right? So physical bodies on the physical plane. That's the hardware. Then we live our lives with more freedom and more grace and more awareness. And this is what we really want for ourselves. We want to be living with freedom and grace, and we want to live with confidence and self-esteem. My particular niche is helping women who struggle with anxiety and self-doubt to overcome that anxiety and self-doubt through my complete self-empowerment project. And you sign up for that. It's $2,125. It's for 6 weeks, and we set you straight. We pull out those limiting beliefs. We give you positive beliefs, and you are set. You have rock solid self-trust. You have rock solid self-confidence. And from that base layer, that strong, solid, stable base, you are able to develop self-confidence, develop self-love, self-compassion, and the whole world begins to look differently to you because your programming has changed. So if this is interesting to you, I would definitely encourage you to DM me. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to hear from you. Consultation calls are completely free. So DM me. I'm on Facebook, Lydia Hill Hypnotherapy. My website is www.lydiahillhypnotherapy.directory. Thank you so much. Subscribe, please, down below. Click the button.